What's up, Reefers? Today we're going to be looking at my lighting rig and the setup of lights, my lighting schedule, photo period and the overall part of this tank. I'm going to split it down into 4 different sections: the lights themselves, the photo period that I have, the schedule that I run, and also the part in the tank. So we will start with the lights that I run. I actually run a hybrid setup, which basically means you do 2 forms of lights. In my case, I use LEDs and I also use T5 bulbs. I find personally that I get a really good even spread of light across the tank and also good power. It's a method that I got into. I started using hybrid lights probably 2.5 years ago, and honestly I've never looked back. We'll focus on the LEDs themselves. They are GHL Mitras LX7206. I'm running 2 units. Each unit has 6 clusters of LEDs. There's 12 LEDs per cluster, 12 clusters over the tank, over the 2 fixtures, so it's 144 LEDs in total. At maximum power, these GHL Mitras run at 195 watts. That's absolute peak. That's if you're running at high output mode and at 100% intensity. I don't run them at 100% intensity. I run mine on high efficiency mode, which is equivalent to around 130 watts if you're running at 100% intensity. But I run mine at 65 watts. So each unit is producing around 85 watts at peak. So that's the LED portion of my light setup. To be honest, this is a bit overkill for this tank. Each one of these is rated for a 3-foot tank, and to be honest, I could have got away with just using 1. If this was an LPS dominated tank, I would have easily got away with 1. But as it's got a lot of SPS on the top, I really wanted a nice even blanket of light. And I feel like this gives a really good spread of power across the top of the tank, but we'll get to see that in the power test that we'll do at the end of the video. The fixture that's fixed around the 2 units, the GHL units, is the Aquatic Life T5 Hybrid. It is a 4-bulb T5 hybrid system. I'm running ATI Blue Plus bulbs. They are 39 watts each. That's a total of 156 watts. There's a few drawbacks to running T5s. One, they're not that efficient. They do produce a lot of heat, and so the electricity that they're using, a lot of it is transferred into heat and not actually light. But one benefit of having T5 bulbs is you get such an even spread of power. It's like a blanket of light across this whole tank, and that's what I really like about them. And to be honest, I'm not really one for a shimmery tank. So yeah, T5s are perfect for me because they don't produce any shimmer. It is just a nice diffused light across the whole of the tank. So that's actually the light setup that I've got. T5 hybrids, T5s, 4 T5 bulbs, and 2 GHL Mitras LX7206s. Let's look at the photo period. So the photo period is the amount of time that these lights spend being on. My LEDs come on first. They come on at 9 o'clock in the morning. They ramp up, so they initially switch on at 9 o'clock and they ramp up until 2 p.m. So it's not until 2 p.m. where they actually hit their peak intensity. All the way from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. they're always ramping up slowly throughout the day. From 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. they sit at the same schedule, same intensity, all of that time that they're on. So that's 4 hours of the same intensity. And that's what I'm going to be doing my power test on. So we'll do the power tests between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. because that's my peak intensity. From 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. 6 p.m. they start ramping down, and 9 p.m. they finally turn off. So that's my photo period for the LEDs. My T5s, they turn on. T5s are just on or off. You can get dimmable T5 bulbs and dimmable T5 fixtures, but mine are not. Mine are just on off. So the T5s turn on at 10:30 a.m. and they turn off at 6:30 p.m. So that's 8 hours of T5s. 12 hours of LEDs, 8 hours of T5s. It works for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but I'm getting some really good results, really good color, really good growth, so I can't complain. So, light schedules. Preset light schedules is not something that I was a fan of when I first got into reefing. And I thought I was better than everybody else. I thought I knew what lights corals needed. I didn't do any power tests when I first got into there. I just ran pretty much blues all day long because I really like that pop of blues. But to be honest, it wasn't until I got a proper light schedule. The light schedule on this tank I'm using is AB Plus from Ecotech, and it wasn't until I started using a tried and tested schedule that I really started to get some good results. That's not to say that if you make your own schedule, it's going to be crap and it's not going to work and you're not going to get any growth, because I did get growth from my corals when I was using my own schedule, but nowhere near as good as I'm getting now. So that is my light schedule. So what we're going to look at now is the par readings from this tank. For the purposes of this video, I will just take a few key readings. I'm going to take 3 from the bottom, 3 from the middle, and 4 from the top. We'll take readings from the bottom left in this Zoa garden. In the middle, we'll do the rock flower anemone garden, and on the right, we shall do this chalice. In the middle, we'll take readings from this red planet on the left, the unknown tenuous in the middle, and also the torch garden on the right. And at the top, on the left, we'll do the Miyagi Torch. The middle left, we will do the Pikachu. Middle right, the electric lemonade and Aquapora. And the far right, we will do the pink millipora. Right, I've got the laptop set up. I just recorded all of the power readings of this tank, but because this tank's so small, I was stood in front of the camera most of the video. So what I'm going to do is briefly show you exactly what you do with the Seneye. So I've got my laptop booted up here. I've downloaded the Seneye app or Seneye software. You plug your Seneye in and it comes up with all of these readings. I am only looking at par, which is this reading over here on the top right. I don't care about the other ones. All I'm looking at is the par readings of this tank. So you plug it in to your USB port down here. You won't be able to see it because it's just off camera. You get your Seneye. This side here, the black side, you've got the white side and you've got the black side. This is the par sensor on this side here. So you put the, let me move you back a little bit and let me see if I can get a shot where you can see everything in action. All right, so grab your Seneye, put it in the water so the black side is facing directly up. You put it over the top of the coral that you want to get a reading of. This isn't the true reading because my wave makers are now running, but with the wave makers on and the Seneye held just above, well, just on top of the coral that I want to read, I'm getting readings between 340 and 318. That is fluctuating because my wave makers are running. If I was to turn my gyros off and turn my wave makers off also, which is what you're going to do when you want to take power readings, because the fluctuation in power when the wave makers are on is just a nightmare to deal with. So if you keep the water surface nice and flat, not agitated, you should get a nice steady power reading. And we're looking at so around 350 power at the top of this pink millipora here. Let's have a look at the power readings that I got from the Seneye. So the Zoa garden, the bottom left of the tank, this little Zoa garden where the mushroom is sitting, I've got 170 par. In the middle of the tank, where the rock flower anemones are and also the Zoas are, that is at 200 par. And the right at the bottom, where the chalice is sitting, that green chalice there, that is 172 par. Moving up to the middle, the red planet at the middle left side of the tank, that is at 293 par. The unknown tenuous, the green-based tenuous with yellowy green polyps that I spoke about last week, that is at 310 par. And moving on to the right side, just down a little bit where the torch garden is going to be sitting, that is sitting at 270 par. Moving right to the top of the tank, the Miyagi Torch on the top left side, that is at 361 par. The Pikachu in the middle of the tank, that is at 350 par. The electric lemonade and Aquapora, that's sitting at 368 par. And the pink millipora on the right side of the tank at the top is sitting at 350 par. That is one thing I really like about the light setup that I've got. It's a really even spread of par. I mean, I've gone overkill with these, with the LEDs and the hybrids on this, and the T5 hybrids on this tank. But to be honest, it's got such an even spread of par over the across the top of the tank at any level. I mean, you can see the bottom, the two sides are around 170, and the middle is at 200. The middle of the tank, they're all sitting between 270 and 310 par, depending on how high or low it is. And the top is all between 350 and 370 par. So it's a really even spread of par across the whole of this tank. It's massive overkill, and I've spent a lot more than I needed to spend on this lighting setup, but to be honest, it's the way I wanted to go with regards to keeping par across the tank as level as I possibly can. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for this week's video. If you've enjoyed the content, please do like, please do subscribe, and I shall catch you next week, guys.